Welcome to Little Birdie. I'm your host, Nick Heathcote, joined by professional punter Jack Dickens and Samantha Jane Todd. SJT, Sammy from South Yarra.
Samantha Sutton these days.
Samantha Sutton. I don't know where to go with that
What's
one.
that about?
Brett Sutton, Chief Health Officer.
We're so married.
Samantha and her mates, there's a lot of them, like Em's mother's group, they're big fans. I think they've all scared him off.
Yeah, he's...
The pressure of like what he's dealing with COVID's one thing, but the pressure to sort of look your best 24/7 now that he's a bit of a wanted
a pin-up
man.
boy.
Oh, he is a pin-up boy. Oh, my gosh. Every woman over the age of 30 is throwing their panties at the screen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Jane, off the mark early with the cut. More stuff from Samantha.
Unbelievable. He handled himself with aplomb yesterday in the parliamentary inquiry.
Are you over 30?
I'm not, but I have enough daddy issues. So it's fine.
Oh, we'll get Big Daddy on later on in the show. He
on
nailed
fire.
the PGA scooty.
Colin Morikawa, he was all over him real late in the betting, and he's up early for the mailbag on his first ever majors. So impressive stuff.
The golf was great to watch.
Yeah, he read it like a book.
It is a lot fatter with a little bit of wagering. His wagering early was spot on.
Yeah, he took on
we were
Spieth.
hard on Spieth, who was 3 over after the first day.
Yep.
He texted me midway through the second morning, like, we were running the thing together, kind of. And he goes, "Oh, Spieth's gone. We've won everything." And I said, he's 3 under. He's come back. You know, he didn't even look. He just penned him. But then Spieth, I think he shot 7 over or something on day 3. So
Yeah, he blew up.
he nailed it. It was fat. Great golf tournament. It's
gonna be-
You enjoy it, Sammy?
The golf?
I was actually cooking on Sunday.
The Supernormal
Sunday.
Cookbook
So
came out.
You're doing a fair bit of
Little Birdie
cooking
tells me.
at 7 a.m. on a Sunday, are you?
No.
That's when the golf's on. All right.
Big show this week, the AFL. The umpiring issue and the state of the game doesn't go away. So much so that Cam Dean's taken a week off. He doesn't want to listen to the dribble this week. He's run scared. He pulled out of a chat room the other night. He threw the toys out of the cot, but he's going to have a week on the bench. Dowson's going to do all the AFL. The NRL, Jack. Can we touch the
I don't
NRL?
think there'll be a lot of yarn about anything to do with the Steeden. A lot of NRL, no Steeden.
A lot of stuff off the park. Ivan Cleary's been fined $20,000, and coaches all of a sudden may not turn up at presses.
Why would you?
Well, I saw that press conference. Journalist says, "What did you think about the umpires?"
Refs, mate, the refs.
Or the referees.
Hug the league, referees.
And the coach isn't allowed to give his opinion when he's directed to the question and gets slapped with the $20,000 fine. It's just ridiculous.
Bad for the game. I'm sick of umpires being protected in all codes. They're professionals. They're paid to do a job.
Everyone should be reviewed on the merits. Yeah, that's
If
right.
you get a poor meal at a restaurant, are you allowed to complain?
Absolutely.
If you get a poor service anywhere, are you allowed to complain?
Yeah.
But no, don't do it to the umpires, because if there's too much narrative criticising an umpire, we'll end up with no umpires. Please. When I walked in here, there's people out there with disinfectant spray rubbing down handrails. Like, cry me a river. If you don't want to umpire, don't umpire. You get paid to do it. There'll be plenty more to come and fill the role. If you can't handle it, there'll be a big line after you, because everyone wants to work, everyone wants money. Whilst there's money in any sport, there'll be umpires. Don't stress about it. If they're shit, call them out on it.
And all of a sudden, the AFL Rules Committee, according to our Twitter poll, are coming under fire. The state of the game's apparently the Rules Committee fault, according to our followers. They think that Steve Hocking and his men have become immune to criticism, and now that's why the game's in the state it is.
I would say in the AFL, the one saving grace that the umpires do have at the moment is the goalposts keep changing on these little blokes. The game's been hard to officiate. I'd say like rugby union and AFL are much harder to officiate than say rugby league. It's a lot more three-dimensional movement, and it's not black and white. And now when you're changing the interpretation midway through a season, these guys are in hubs too, I'm assuming.
Yep.
They're adding to the pressure, and they're making their job harder. So that is the umpire's defence there.
And speaking of pressure, Nash Rawiller, he's been ordered to go to the psychologist. It's been pretty public there. The New South Wales Stewards, they're dealing with a matter around Glenn Pollitt and the private chat group. What was said in there, a joke about James McDonald, that issue has been adjourned. That's another Pandora's box, you know. The stewards are delving into a private conversation and don't like what they hear and take the joke the wrong way. Like, how many other chat groups are going to cop the same sort of scrutiny?
I think the stewards have misread the plate. What happens in a private chat group should have stayed in a private chat group, and if any participant in any sport or organisation is being forced to go and see a psychologist, that should be kept in a private chat group too. To harp on about you care about their mental health, but to blast it all over you in your steward report, and to tell us and me, like someone who's tortured by this sport day to day, that you need to do it for like transparency.
Makes a living off it.
You need to do it for transparency, or you need to, because this is a regular, because we spoke about it, needs to be in the steward report. Please, The amount of stuff, it's nowhere near AFL levels of like rug sweeping. But there's a lot that doesn't get mentioned. If you want to see what doesn't get mentioned, go have a look at Ballarat Race 5. I think it was the 7th of August.
Last Thursday.
You can head to the mailbag. We did a big deep dive on this thing.
It's unbelievable.
Adjusted the report post the race.
Unbelievable.
Well, I watched it. The Dolph watched it. He was blowing up. He was on another horse. I didn't even bet.
The leader missed the start.
If there's ever been a boat race in Victoria, this was it. A boat race means that it was put on for one rider. Don't know if we can air this or not, but it's the truth. It looked like a boat race. Then the data came through, puntingform.com.au. We asked Shane, we said,
slow.
Sugar, can you get us the data a bit quicker? Looked even worse.
Even the caller.
I tweeted about the stewards' report because the race looked hot to me after the race. Then when we went to do this was on Friday afternoon, we went to do the deep dive Monday morning, Sunday night. You know, Sammy, as I do, I'll prepare. The stewards' report had been added to. Yeah. Addressing the change of tactics because Jamie Carr went 12 lengths slower to the 600 or something than she went the previous start. It was
it was an unbelievable watch.
The race caller called it.
Adam Crittenden called it, and he said he thought it was a really, really weird race. But all of a sudden, you can't see the steward's vision for the last 400 metres of the race. So whether it's under investigation, we don't know. We're just asking questions and wondering where does this race sit and what's going on. We just like to know more answers.
The main thing that got me going was wondering if because they've cut the steward's vision off, if because they've added to the steward's report, does that mean it's under investigation?
It could well be. We don't know. And the silence, I guess, is deafening. Now, on a more positive note, Vane Stakes, we've got the Lawrence, Mystic Journey, some really good horses are coming back. The good 3-year-olds through the Quezette. It's a very exciting time. We've done the hard yards through winter. You know, we're about to come out of hibernation. And
we're not about to. We've still got 5 weeks of it. At least, guaranteed 5. You can bank the 5.
It's going to be good fun for spring racing, and the AFL and NRL will get to the pointy end of the season. Now, Sammy, have you got a who would you rather be for us this week?
You know, I was trying to figure out one for Brett Sutton, like who would you rather be, Brett Sutton or someone, but there is just no answer to that.
He's peerless.
He liked his own word.
Indeed he is. So the answer and the question is Brett Sutton.
Hot go. We might have to cool ourselves down a bit. We've got Top Rope Tedeschi back, but next we're going to talk AFL with Dawson's Creek.
If you're excited about this weekend's racing as well, jump onto puntingform.com.au. It's Australia's best online form guide and database, and you can do all your homework right there.
Welcome back, little birdie. Scooty. Time to talk footy.
AFL.
Hawks Star of the Year, $20, thought value premiership. Lots happened since. The week just gone, I don't know what day it was, but Jesus, it was enjoyable.
$151 now, by the way. What price did you take?
Well,
$21.
That's about how many points they scored against Fremantle.
It's very funny. I tell you what, lucky that we've got.
Just talk to me. What's going to happen now?
Well, what's going to happen is Dowson's going to come on. And I tell you what, this is one of the worst stitch-ups. You guys have tried to play the Freo song. You've written West Coast Eagles song on the run sheet. I've smelled a rat, and you guys have fluffed this completely. It's an air swing. It's going about as good as your goal swing.
Now,
Dowson's here to back me up, the fellow Hawker.
Welcome to the show, but I'm not finished with Scooter. Now, I saw something when the Swans almost rolled the Pies, probably should have, and yet again, young, small, Papley was dominant. Now, what he did in the last quarter was he was just gone in the contest. Yet again, poor delivery inside 50. He had no option but to look to stage. So go back, feel the body, and amplify the contact. Had no other option. He's playing a team sport. Achieved it. Perfect. The narrative around that afterwards is bagging Papley for tricking an umpire. It's not bagging the defender for going for the touch and feel instead of just jumping at the pill and punching it or grabbing it, which avoids Papley milking him. And what hurt me the most, though, Sam, I saw from Scooty that the actual Scooty Senior, Gaz, a very good man, a man that putts with a concrete putter. I love him.
I didn't realise this one was Scooty 2.0.
This is Scooty Junior. I'm talking Scooty Senior and Junior. To see Senior and Junior bagging Papley, and these are two boys who grew up playing country footy. They're not tall, they're not tiny, but they're small footballers. And how you can't appreciate the like class and ability that it takes for Papley to do what he does, and the hatred that's coming from Senior and Junior, which probably came from, as everything else does, from Clarkson. The boys just regurgitate. Why does Senior and Junior hate Papley so much?
No, actually,
shouldn't you not resonate with what he's doing?
I actually like him. I think Tom Papley's a great player, but the reality of the fact is that he's been done for staging. He's a stager, and he joins an illustrious group of guys that have had great memes made about them for diving. G. Ablett's another one. Selwood does it all the time. They all act for free kicks, and no one likes it. And Clarkson's right, and he's been vindicated.
Papaulo would have to give back just for everything he's earned in the game of football.
Now, to straighten us up, Dowso, it sounds like a real... He hates Clarkson, doesn't he? And he hates Hawthorn.
Finished with Jeff yet.
But that's fine. The stitch-up was very average. I was all over it. I got you guys off air. But Dowso, hit us with your favourite segment of the week.
Bad beats. Well, guys, I've got a bit of a confession. I've actually started watching some of these games with a bit of a bad beat lens, especially the bad games. And as that last kick of the Hawks game floated towards the goal, I think it was 1 second to go, 2 seconds there, I couldn't help but thinking, out of the punters, this is hurting someone. So who is it hurting? Is it hurting the line bettors? No. Is it hurting the totals bettors? No. Is it hurting the anytime goal scorers? No, because Gunston's already kicked one. And then it comes sheepishly into the DMs a couple of days later. Mitchell Humphreys, poor old Humper, is cheering home the last leg of a 5-legger to slam home a 4.5K winner. And you guessed it, the last leg is Gunston, 2-goal scorer. So bad luck, Humper. You missed out there, my friend. Bad luck. But I think the worst of the weekend was the Blues line. I think if you're a Carlton Blues line better there, you're 13 points up at halftime. You're playing pretty well. Coaster playing poorly. And the umpiring, goodness me. Tedeschi holding the ball out on the flank, 50 metres after that, but it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't a free kick. The Shuey trip by foot I thought was important. I think there was a goal straight after that. Nick Nat got caught red hot at the top of the goal square for the Blues. Should have been a free kick there. And there was many, many, many more, I think, that went against Carlton in that game. So I think that's probably the one of the week. And I think the Blues bettors could probably feel a bit hard done by there.
It was an absolute stinker. So, yeah, our heart goes out for Sammy. I was betting on Saturday, and a lot of people bet in the last race in Adelaide. And Exalted Ruth got bobbed out of a photo finish, was in front before the line and then after the line.
What was the call like? Because he's
Well, no, he's not the greatest caller, but Ace of Clubs was absolutely blessed at $21 to knock over Exalted Ruth. So anyone that had the bet in the last in Adelaide, that was as good as I sort of saw for the week. But let's talk.
Good insight into how hard he was betting on Saturday. Because if you're betting in the last in Adelaide, if you're just betting in Adelaide, you're keen to get on.
Exactly. Now, well, let's talk about the state of the umpires. I think it's a massive problem, and I think the rules are a massive problem. It's a perfect time to talk about the state of the game without Cam on the show because he's an anti-state of the gamer. What are they going to do with this? Because the uproar across Twitter and social, and people are sort of turning off, and it sounds like the commentators are being gagged, and they're not giving their honest opinions. What's the solution, Dowso?
I know. You'd just like to hope that as the footy heats up, as the grounds get a bit drier, as the footy gets a bit faster and the games get a bit better as we come towards September, that the umpies just start to put the whistle away a little bit more. And if that is the case, to just have more free-flowing. It really seems the ones that are really destroying it at the moment are the ones that are the quick whistles. Like that one, Tedeschi-Seton, he's completely engulfed by a tackle straight away, and it gets paid holding the ball. I think those really fast holding the balls are the ones that are really causing the fans to be a bit upset at the moment. So just hopefully as footy heats up a bit, that they'll put the whistle away for those ones. But in terms of how do they fix it, I don't know. Just put the whistles away maybe, boys.
The way they fix it is by going, this is how we're going to fish out the game of AFL, and not talking about it again, not changing it again, not adjusting it ever. The game was sweet, will be sweet, but the constant moving of the goalposts for these umpires who have never been outstanding, in my opinion, and it just makes it impossible.
They always seem to have this sort of rule of the week, and they'll go really hot on it for a little while. I mean, chopping the arms. How many chopping the arms have you seen paid this year? But there's been barely any.
Yeah, and I think
that was like.
When they changed the rule, when like say this week they talk about chopping the arms, and it was a normal old school AFL weekend, Thursday night and Friday night, they'd pay it all night. By Sunday afternoon, it would soften right off to where you think is like the right level again. And so as a player, like what I'm talking about with Papley, you've got to like read the play and go, oh, I'm a chance of getting this kick at this time, or I'm not now. Like it
is confusing.
I understand, like in all sports, the referee will like they're professionals and they're trying to get every edge they can. So they'll push and they'll go to the edge and the edge of the rule. Whereas basketball, NBA or something, and then when he calls that foul or pays that free kick, all the elite operators go, okay, that's about the benchmark for what we can get away with this bloke.
Yep.
And provided that bloke or woman, the umpire, referee, maintains that as the benchmark for, like, we're going to pay your hands in the back tonight, we're going to pay holding the ball, that's holding the ball. They maintain that level. I think all players are happy. I think all fans are happy. But it's when it's just up and down, yo-yo, or he paid that there, he didn't pay it now, that just causes frustration.
I think the chopping of the arms is bang on. If you want forwards to kick more goals, they need more protection, and at the moment, they're just not getting it. And I remember how hot that was a couple of years ago, that rule, and it just seems like a no-brainer for me. If one thing's got to change, they need to protect the forward, and those marking contests, it just, I find maybe a dozen for the game that they're just obvious where the forward's just been absolutely bashed into the ground and there's no protection. So I reckon you're spot on there, Dowson. Now, Dowson, what did you think about the game of the week? Let's go from the bad to the good. Port and Richmond. It was exhilarating footy, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. Loved it, and loved Port's hardness. I've been a bit anti-Tiger. I thought Port were fantastic. I've been a bit anti-Tigers, but I was actually pretty impressed with the Tigers as well. And I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because there's a lot of red sitting next to the Tigers in my premiership book. So I've got to work out a way to fix that. But I just love Port's hardness around the contest. They were fantastic. They brought a lot of emotional energy to that game. So it'll be interesting to see if they can back that up against the Cats. I really rate the Cats, so I'm looking forward to that game as well.
The top four looks pretty much set to me, with Richmond looking like the bolter. So Port and Brisbane look like they're going to get home finals if they continue on the same form. Geelong made a meal of Cam Saints, and that's why he exited the chat group the other night, which was disappointing. West Coast have got a big home ground advantage at the moment and run with the umpires. And then you've got, Richmond with all those injuries. They look like the real jack in the box there. They're probably well found in premiership betting. I
thought it interesting how long it took you to sort of declare that the Saints had lost. Like, obviously you've had a bit of a checkered little run with crowing teams. So to Cam's defence, you waited till it was about 4 minutes to go and they were down by 50.
Well, I was actually pretty disappointed. I tagged Cam into a tweet, and it was a girl putting her pants back on and tagged him in, and I thought, that's a great troll, but just Cam would not bite at all, because I thought the Cats had saved my pants. So I don't have to play golf in the Raw, but really rubbed him up the wrong way. He must have had a big bet on the line there at the Saints, but he is getting a lot right, Cam. He's on fire at the moment. Lachie Neale is now odds on for the Brownlow, and I see a range of big bets rolling in for Neale. I think he tipped the listeners in at about $3.60 or around the $3 mark, and he's just absolutely cascaded in since then, Sammy.
Well, I was actually just a little distracted when you were talking about the Saints. Someone at Top Sport has had $2,000 on the Saints to take out the premiership this year at $21, and that was just this week, by the way.
It's probably Cam's money.
It could be. So that's to win $42,000, by the way, for anyone who's not that quick at maths. But how good's this? Top Sport hasn't rolled it in an inch.
No.
They're backing you in here.
They're backing. Well, I'm not surprised. They were a little bit average. Now, who's in the biggest hole at the moment? Is it North Melbourne or Adelaide? And who would you rather steer from here on in, Adelaide or the Kangas?
I think I'd probably rather be Adelaide at this point in time, just because I just don't know how much talent North Melbourne have got coming through. They're still very middle-aged and top-aged. They brought a lot of guys from other clubs in, and those guys aren't probably going to be the ones that deliver them to where they want to go. So I think North are in a bit of a spot at the moment, and there's a couple of good young players for Adelaide. Young Chase Jones, Hamill look really good. They've got Big Fogarty up there. I think they do have some good youngsters over there in Adelaide. So I'd probably prefer to be on Adelaide at the moment as opposed to North Melbourne.
I agree. I think that Fogarty will be a good footballer in a better team. When the team's rolling a lot more and the ball's coming down a lot smoother, he's going to be a better player. I think North, a little bit like
Himmelberg. I like
a little bit like
agree.
I think North, a little bit like Hawthorn, have chased more success right now and recruited more aggressively, and now it's not worked.
Coming back to bite
It's
them.
a long way to get set again. Whereas Adelaide have sort of, we're going to reset.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems there. Speaking of a side that looks like they're up and about as the Gold Coast Suns, they take on the Bombers. Sammy, we might just get some odds and then we'll get Dowso's lean.
Yeah, well, the Suns are certainly the favourite, and they've been quite a mover as well. They've got smashed from $2 into $1.68 last night, and now it's into $1.63. The line's at about 6.5 points.
Dowso?
Yeah, so they opened up at plus 3.5. So I really like the Suns at that marker. I tweeted that one out last week, and now that big sort of 9-point move. Look, probably still couldn't turn you off the Suns even at this point with Hurley. I think Hurley's out. So Hurley, Hooker out. They're struggling down back. Suns like to score. They're exciting. I'm not overly enamored about the 6-point line. It was obviously better previously, but if you're going to have one way or the other, I'd be on the Suns.
And Thursday night's match, Swans versus GWS, the Derby, 19.5-point line.
The Battle of the Bridge.
Well, the Battle of the Bridge. I had this line a lot lower actually, so I actually probably leaned to the Swans a little bit here.
Sydney Stages.
Yeah, I probably lean to the Swans a little bit here, but maybe I'm being a bit disrespectful to GWS. They've had a decent month of footy. Their last 5 games have had decent results, but I don't know. Toby Green's the big one there. If he's not playing, the Giants just aren't the same. So I don't know. I'll probably just leave that one. But lean at the moment is to the Swans at 19.
I think you got to be careful. The reactive, media-driven umpires will be very, very unlikely to pay perhaps anything this weekend, just as the rule that is the AFL. Now, before we let you go, I thought we've got 2 Hawthorn boys on. Let's cover them off.
Oh.
You've just lost to Freo in one of the most disgraceful performances that club's put forward in a long time, I think fair to say. Clarkson's now under a little bit of pressure. Jeff, who's busy wide-ending the Premier of Victoria, probably needs someone to start wide-ending him because the club that he took back over is in a very much worse state than it was. Are the players sort of not trying because they're not? You'd have to be worried. Like I don't know. It's more of a concern when you're playing like club footy or a bit of bush footy, and a lot of that revenue comes from the pokies. But are the match payments starting to slow down there at Hawkeye's Land as the COVID restrictions continue and the poker machines stay off?
Well,
I think we're going to the Barossa, aren't we? I think we're hubbing over in Adelaide pretty soon, and I think we've got quite a few golfers and the Hawthorn boys are a bit sort of got the collars up and the RM Williams on, so they'll enjoy their red wines over there. So I think they're pretty up and about the Hawks. Look, I'm pretty sure the last game of the round last year against the West Coast Eagles, I think that line was about 28, 29, and we're coming in as big underdogs again here. So. Look, don't be surprised if we pull something out against the Coast. Carlton almost did it. Why can't we?
Oh, well, I don't think our egos have recovered since that West Coast win, and that's probably the problem. These guys are spending a little bit of time on TikTok, and I tell you what, they're not good dancers, and they're playing.
That was not sweet. What was that?
It was awful.
And then you go and lose to Freo.
Awful?
How about you stop TikTok and start training with footballs?
There's still far too many passengers in the Hawthorn squad.
Do you reckon that's
Clarko's got to
sweet,
get a harder edge.
You're worried about Dan Andrews. Your employees are like TikToking, mate.
Trump's
Come on,
banned
Jeff. Trump's banned it. You're a big Trump man, Jeffrey. Follow the lead, son.
The Hawks are battling at the moment. I mean, we've just been struggling to score for a long time, and they're not very watchable. We look to go sideways and backwards at every opportunity. So the only time we do look half decent, and Scoot, I'm sure you, me, and a lot of other Hawthorn supporters are thinking the same thing. Get Sicily down forward from the get-go. Get one of the big boys down there from the get-go, because O'Brien and his mates down there are not getting it done for us. So no. we got to get a different look down forward.
Or start drafting footballs instead of just recruiting older ones.
Okay, well, that's enough of Hawk talk for the week. We're going to have to throw into NRL. Dowso, you've been absolutely sensational. We'll get more of you next week when Cam has come back from the ambulance.
Enjoyed that.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Up next, we've got Hall of Fame and Top Rope Tedeschi is back from hiatus to
Sammy,
talk Broncos.
Samantha, if we're betting on the footy this weekend,
Where we bet?
Top Sport, obviously. They've
what will
got
they give me?
even money lines.
Whoa.
To win up to $200. So make sure if you want to cash that in and you'd be silly not to, head
Wow.
to
Huge value.
topsport.com.au. Make sure you gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858 if you're concerned. Welcome back to Little Birdie. My name's Samantha. I'm here with the boys to talk about the Hall of Fame and some NRL action.
Hug the league.
Nick Tedeschi is our Hall of Fame man. Welcome back to the show. You've had a week off. You must be fresh.
Yeah, a bit like Sung Jim, a week off's a massive freshen for me, so I am ready and raring to go.
Samantha, you might have a
Hall
little
of Fame
nom.
nomination.
I do have a
Is
nomination.
this to do with your DM?
It's actually not. But that's,
We're going to talk about that.
do we have to talk about that?
we'll
I don't
talk
know
about
if we
it
do
later.
need to talk about that. My Hall of Fame nomination is an app called Healthy Wage. Have either of you heard about it? No.
No.
Well, just a quick shout out to social media algorithms for marrying the post staring at Jennifer Hawkins in a bikini depression that comes with my sick punting habits to suggest this app to me, because it's an app where you get to literally bet on your ability to lose weight.
Wow. This is great for Jack Dickens.
Just for some
This
reference
is
to the
great. A little bit of an
punter
honesty
and
system.
the dribbler at home. I've wandered onto Sammy's Instagram this week, and I've seen it looks like a teenager's sort of mountain
Mountain
bike, but just jam that in the lounge room. Going back to that scooter, he looks like he's living on a set of Lord of the Rings. The two kids are going at it with the swords. That must be torture. He just didn't see the big head drop.
Yep.
So you've downloaded the app and you're on board,
Well,
and then set up the bike.
I don't know if it's legal in Australia because it's all in pounds and whatever, but I just think that's great.
What a
because there's a few
concept.
people I'd love to lay when they start talking about,
Why'd you look at me?
when they start talking
Weight loss.
SHIT about, yeah.
I think I know who she's talking about. Now, Top Rope,
I wanna
you'd
nominate-
bet on that.
let's
Top
look-
Rope would bet on anything.
I don't know about the Healthy Wage app. It seems like it's really kind of not really aligning with the battle of addiction, and you've got $1.90, take your pick, feed v punt. So I just don't know
Two
about
losers.
that one.
Two losing bets.
I'm hungry and I'm broke. Not ideal.
Oh, we love winning
Not
idols.
ideal.
Hall of Fame. Are we going to get there?
Hall of Fame this week. We're going to the land of the long white cloud. We're going to New Zealand.
Zealand.
We're giving it to a young apprentice, Hazel Schofer. Rode 6 winners on Saturday
Wow.
at Harrower. 6 winners as a 3 kilo claiming apprentice. So, and a couple of double figures. So definitely got the job done for the punters. So look, hate to go serious on a Hall of Fame. Every now and then it's got to be done though. So Hazel Schofer into the Hall.
Well, she could be one to follow. The next Michelle Payne. I watched Ride Like a Girl on Saturday night, and
What about
I
the tweet?
teared up.
What
I was
about the
so
tweet?
emotional.
Oh.
We might have Michelle on the show in a couple of weeks. The story just absolutely floored me, being a country boy. Now, Top Rope.
I can't take it.
Top,
I can't take him. Mate.
I'm from the country.
Mate, you're from Albury. It's just a big city. in the
Mansfield and Mansfield.
country. Okay.
My heritage is the Snowy River.
Good movie. Great woman. What a woman.
Yeah. Now, NRL. There's a bubbler around every corner. Tedeschi. Yesterday, the Broncos. It blew up. TPJ, Siebold. I'm not sure what we can say with Siebold now engaging
Not much.
a lawyer, but what is going on?
Yeah, the rumours are flying pretty thick and fast about Anthony Siebold. Who knows how true any of them are, but the kind of wash-up out of this is going to be that Anthony Siebold 100% will not be the coach next year, and it'll probably be a bit of a surprise if he continues on at the end of this year. He broke the bubble last week for a family matter. No one's saying what it is, so obviously it's pretty personal, but it's very, very, very hard to see Siebold coming back from this. And of course, Pangai Jr. He deliberately broke the bubble, went to in classic rugby league fashion.
Classic. Just so hard to believe this. Cop this, PVL. Try and handle this.
he called about 4 clubs last week, tried to get a job elsewhere, and then decides I'm going to go break the bubble after missing about 1,000 tackles on Friday night, and goes to the opening of a bikey barbershop. 2 weeks, loses his job. So how good rugby league? It never fails to deliver.
There's always another chaotic controversy around the corner.
PVL, maybe that's his angle with he's starting, I guess, at the coach's presses, and he's just getting a big enough rug to start sweeping things under. I thought Ivan Cleary was ultra stiff. What was your take on the Cleary fine? Top rope?
Nah, perfectly fine. If PVL says it's okay, it's okay. Look, you know me. I would never advocate bringing the reputation and the integrity of a referee into this. Surely.
What's your hashtag on Twitter?
And to be fair, they have no reputation or integrity to protect, so you cannot really protect them. But no, PVL did the right thing by the game. He laid the law down. He drew a line in the sand and said no more. So Cleary copped it. Cleary can afford it. He's on about $1 billion a year. So
how much did
no worries there.
How much did PVL fine the anti-vaxxer from the Manly Sea Eagles when he called the referee some horrid names on TV?
Yeah, I think it was 20 or 30,000, something similar.
It was?
Maybe it was less. I don't remember.
I think it was a lot less.
Dude, that was so many scandals ago. Come on, that had to have been 100 scandals ago.
All I will say about
a very short memory.
All I'll say about the Brisbane stuff is I've had a few delivery drivers in my time. None at that level.
The likelihood is none of this is true. But nothing would entertain me more than to find out Wayne Bennett was the one behind sending these text messages to ultimately troll him. That could be the greatest troll of all time. Wayne.
I think Alfie's in a bit of strife too. It's about to come out too. So the Broncos are
just layers.
They were in deep
previously.
4 months ago, 3 months ago. It's somehow gotten worse. A lot worse.
It's so entertaining to watch. There's nothing better than an Anthony Siebold press conference on a Friday night.
The bold and the beautiful.
Wow. Now, the premiership race. Is it a 4-horse race? Panthers, Storm, Eels, Roosters.
Sharks.
No, I think the Raiders could still win. I think they can come back and find a bit there. And I'm not 100% convinced on the Panthers. I know they're winning and sweeping all before them, and they've won 8 on the trot by more than a converted try. But
not enough.
I'm not sure they've got the medal to go all the way. So
they're definitely firm. They're equal second favourite now at $4.60.
They're absolutely fine. I'm going to get a double shot at the premiership. They'll be in the top 4 for sure. I think Melbourne are just warming nicely to it. To be honest, I think I don't mind at all that Cam Munster and Cam Smith are out now. They'll just float into the top 4. They always do. And they're pretty hard and pretty steeled, I think. So could be Cameron's last year. Who knows? So,
and they're not playing for a home final, you wouldn't think, because of the COVID stuff. And I reckon,
absolutely,
Teddy, it's going to be really interesting how the season plays out. The normal pattern would be that some of these better sides might drop a game or two about now with the Origin.
Just try and rest.
Because they'd lose a lot of their best players to Origin, and then maybe 1 or 2 of them get injured, whereas this year it's just playing right through. So, like, the Roosters would be depleted. Like, the Panthers would lose Nathan Cleary.
Storm.
Etc. Well, the Storm would actually probably keep Cam Smith because he's retired from rep footy, but it's going to be a different setup, and it'll be interesting how that plays out.
Absolutely, and I think you can kind of see a bit of that now with some of the good coaches kind of managing their players. Like there's still half a dozen players out for the Roosters, and look, absolutely no doubt, most of them were legit injuries. But you can just tell with the Kyle Flanagan getting dropped last week, maybe he's just resting a couple, probably taking a week or 2 extra to bring back, say, a Boyd Cordner, which I just think is great management. They're not getting that rest that they would during the year with the bye. Finals, it's going to be a pretty hard, intense run into the final. Well, I think the good clubs are managing this. And the other element is there's not going to be a lot of need for home finals with some of the teams, like the Storm. Yeah, they will get one up at Suncorp, which would be handy. But they're playing away from home regardless. I don't think they're worried, to be honest. So I can see this kind of playing out. I really think this is going to come down to coaching a lot this year and experience. It's so different to how it's been played before. I think the Storm and the Roosters go in a massive edge over everyone else, just having been there, done it the last few years.
Nice little segue into probably match of the round. Roosters Storm Thursday night.
Absolute ripper of a game. I think this will be the grand final. A lot of players out. It's probably not going to have that feel to it. Line's kind of come in a bit based on team news. The Roosters are expected to get probably 4 or 5 players back this week. Only Josh Morris returns. Munster out for the Storm. I don't mind the Storm as underdogs here. They rolled the Roosters as big underdogs last time out. I think they can pull off a little bit of an upset, but I do like there to be a lot of points in this one. I think there's still plenty of attacking weapons on both sides, and I'm not sure both sides are really kind of steel for this. I think the new rules, when two good teams play each other, you can kind of really get like big bursts of momentum. And when you can finish off like these two teams, I think there'll be plenty of points. So it's a pretty low line. I'll be taking the over in that as the bet in that one.
Sammy, odds?
Well, the Roosters are $1.46. Melbourne Storm, $2.75. The line is 5.5 at the moment. And as Top Rope mentions, it's moved in from 7.5 to 5.5. The over-unders is 36.5 points at $1.95.
Well played, Top Rope. You navigated your way through the dribble and added Hazel Schofer from the New Zealand jockey ranks into the Hall of Fame. We finally got there. Fantastic work, and we'll see you again next week.
Exciting.
And who knows?
Siebold Part 18.
Yeah, the sequel.
It's the greatest drama on TV. Better than life.
It doesn't look like ending anytime soon.
Thanks, Top Rope.
See you guys.
Sammy, movers for the week. We know Tristan's had a little bit of a whoopsie on a weekend away or golf trip with some of his mates. He was lipping up to one of his golf mates and he actually got pushed through a window or a sliding door and now he's got collarbone issues. Unlucky. What mates?
Very unlucky. Well, we had the Suns move that we touched on earlier. West Coast now into favourite, $4.40 for the flag. We mentioned that large bet that we had on the Saints as well. Storm, as I just mentioned when we were talking to Top Rope, the Raiders have been a bit of a mover here, minus 14.5 out to minus 16.5 with some issues surrounding the Broncos, obviously. Mm-hmm. Panthers keep firming up to win the comp now at $4.60 equals second fave. And then we're heading into some golf, so I might just keep that up my sleeve for later. Trump is firming up again.
Amazing.
To $2.28 for the election.
He was out to about $3.20, so it's just unbelievable that he's short.
That was always going to be a nice arb there.
Oh, now talking about trading, she's got all the skills, SJT, and
They can't.
the bet that she mentioned earlier, $2,000 at $21 on the Saints. That's why you bet at Top Sport. They take the biggest bets and don't reject bets. Sammy, if you're betting this weekend, it's the only place to be.
Of course it is. Even money lines. And that's on both codes. That's on the AFL and the NRL that we've been talking about so far. So you can get on with the even money lines to win up to $200 and check out Top Sport to get on. Make sure that you do call Gamblers Helpline, though, if you are having any kind of issues. 1-800-858-858 is the number.
Up next, we've got Big Daddy to talk about golf.
Welcome back to Little Birdie. It's Sammy and the boys, and we are welcoming back the very best. It's our very own Big Daddy to talk golf.
How are you, Sammy?
Great.
I'm great.
How are you, Dicko? How are you, Jack?
We're here too, mate. Don't forget about us.
Yeah.
Or do, that's fine. We can talk golf.
Now, Fraser, you were in scintillating form last week for the major out at San Francisco, and Colin Morikawa, $12 coming into the last round. You tipped that out, and then just a little bit of a let's look at the stats. You've put out 19.75 units to return 27.3 back in. So you've absolutely killed them, and you put a hole in Jordan Spieth. He's looking as shaky as Jack when he stands over the pill at the moment. He looks like he spends a year over his tee shots. It's awful. This little side there.
Hey, mate, before we get started, too, your feedback on Twitter yesterday when you talked to me 24/7 on private messages was very, very nasty, Adam. You should be better than that.
Oh, look, I just don't agree with someone trying to work on their golf swing and going onto YouTube. It just doesn't work, Dicko, and your swing's looking pretty ordinary at the moment. It might be because of COVID. It just needs a lot of help.
I tell you whose swing looks fantastic is Colin Morikawa. Just took the bit between the teeth and just went all in on the big drive and then made the big putt. But his putt has been on fire, but he just plays aggressive golf. Tell us what you think he's going to do for the next year, or do you follow him? How do you bet him?
Yeah. So Colin Morikawa is a young guy, 23 years old, a local guy. So one of the things that we've seen out on the mailbag with Morikawa and Champ is that they're two local young guys from that area, and they know the course really well. Morikawa is a guy that I've watched him pretty closely now for a little bit, but during that tournament, it was such a tough test, and he has not got a weakness in his game. He's just such a solid player. He's got the most purest putting stroke, hits it straight off the tee, hits a lot of greens in regulation, hits it close to the hole. His short game's really, really good. I just think he's going to be around for a long time. I mean, he's not one of these guys who's just going to be a little flush in the pants. I think he's going to be a real steady player for a very, very long time.
And as a golfer, would he take like a stack of belief out of that performance on the biggest stage where he's chipped in his last round? He drove 16 with one of the most beautifully shaped fades you've ever seen.
He drowned about three snake putts.
He didn't like hold on. He delivered under the biggest amount of pressure there's in golf. Does he take heaps out of that? And how long does that last for him, Big Daddy?
Yeah, well, one of the things I like about Colin is he looks to be playing like he's not scared. You can sort of see with guys coming down the stretch in majors, if they're a little bit nervous and they get that sort of anxious, nervous look on their face and they start to hit erratic tee shots. He just looked brutally tough, and that's what I really like sort of taking out of it. He's proven now he can beat the best in the world in a major, and there's sort of nothing stopping him. His game looks like it's going to be really well suited to tough driving courses where it's really important to hit a lot of fairways. So things like the British Open could be a good play for him if it's not too windy and the conditions are fairly favourable. But, there's a lot of emphasis on hitting the ball and keeping the ball in play. I think those sort of courses would be really well suited because he's not a massive, massive long hitter off the tee. So, but yeah, he's just got a great all-round game. I think he's going to be around for a long time, this kid.
I thought Bryson DeChambeau showed a fair bit there, day 4. He made a big charge.
Well, Bryson hits it a little bit wild off the tee at times. So during the tournament, he wasn't handling the course well sort of after 2 rounds. And I thought that, we could probably play against him with Brooks. I thought Brooks was playing a little bit better. But then it just turned on its head and Bryson actually came good and Brooks went the other way. So I think you're going to see Bryson will probably win a major. To me, he's probably better suited on a course like Augusta maybe. The only thing is he's got to be able to control his... he gets these shots coming into the greens where he can't control his distance with his irons. A couple of times he hits his 8-iron like 190 yards, and next time you'll hit it like 175. To play Augusta, well, you've got to be able to hit it on the levels. They've got all these different levels so they can pop pins, and you've got to have exceptional distance control, and I think that's probably the next thing that has to get better in Bryson's game. But if he does that, I think I could definitely see him winning around Augusta if he can improve in that respect.
Any angles this week for the Wyndham Championship, mate?
Yeah, there's. I still want to keep playing against Spieth while he's out of form. Spieth's struggling to put 2 rounds together at the moment. He can sort of have a good one, then he has a shocker, and then has a good one and has a shocker. So he's been pretty inconsistent for a while. So moving forward for a few weeks at least, if Spieth's playing, I think we can play against him. I think he's up against. Who's he up against? Todd, I think.
Brendan.
Brendan Todd.
And Siebold.
Yeah. I just think also that Webb Simpson seems to be too short. He's played incredible there the last 3 years at the Greensboro, on the Greensboro course. At the Wyndham, I think he's had 2 seconds and a third the last 3 years. But Brooks hasn't played there since 2015. I could be wrong in that. I was only having a real quick squeeze through the leaderboards the last 4 years. But Brooks, I'm pretty sure the last time he played there was in 2015. He actually beat Webb. They both finished inside the top 10, but Brooks looks like he likes that track, and he's back there again this year. And I just think he's ridiculous overs. They've got similar form base over the last sort of 20 rounds played. Brooks has got similar form over the last year, and I think at $2.40, I think it is, Sammy. I think Brooks could be a little bit of a good play against Webb. Yeah.
Yeah, Webb's $1.57, Brooks Koepka $2.41.
There you go, punters. Get it while you can. He was red hot on the PGA. We're going to take Brooks to beat Webb and anyone to beat Spieth we can find. If you can find a head-to-head market and anyone to beat Spieth, you take it.
Big month of golf coming up. We've got the Northern Trust, the BMW Championship, the Tour Championship, and then not far after that is the US Open. Well done on your first major, Big Daddy. You are on fire, and we'll talk to you next week.
Right, thanks, guys.
That's all we've got time for. I'm getting the wind-up here at Little Birdie. Jack, highlight of the show, your failed attempt to stitch us up.
Well, Jane and I are going to have a talk about that after the show. Enjoyed today. I'm liking not having to do much work and just coming in with a few little angles.
For fresh little barbs, Sammy?
I liked how up and about Dicko was. He's
I'm
definitely
fresh. I don't have to.
loving
I
it.
don't have to do anything. I just show up with my angles.
In these COVID times.
No more depressed father chats.
Oh, well, I actually have a lot more sympathy for our man Scooty now after seeing the Lord of the Rings set up in his lounge room. He would be hating.
Who would you rather be? Who would you rather be? It's just all about Brett Sutton in COVID times. I think that's absolutely sensational. Sammy's just writing her own little segments here. I think it's great. We'll catch you next week on Little Birdie Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll find us on SEN.
LittleBirdiePod.com. Bye for now.
Can keep my hands on myself.